Are you playing all the time but don't really feel like you're getting better? Part of it could be you never learned the fundamentals needed to reach a certain level. That was my problem. A few years back, I had to strip down my stroke and relearn how to play. And since then, my game's gotten a lot better. Maybe that's what you need. I don't know, but that's what this video series is. We're going back to the basics. I'm just getting home from pool. Let's get in, get on the table. Let's go over a few things. Approach, stance, stroke. Roll the B-roll.
We got that B-roll.
Go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way.
Chances are when you first learned to play, no one actually taught you. You just hit balls, made in what you wanted to make in, and kept playing like that. If you play like that long enough, you're gonna develop a bunch of habits, a bunch of bad habits. And now the problem is you gotta learn to break those habits. And you know as well as I do, habits are hard to break. Today we're gonna talk about your stance, your approach to the table, and your stroke. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Guys, it's gonna be real tough to practice cue ball control and run drills effectively until your stance, approach, and stroke are all in order. The problem you're gonna run into there is if your stroke isn't consistent, your stance and pre-shot routine aren't the same, you're gonna get different results every time you hit the cue ball, even though you think you're hitting it in the right place. That makes it real difficult to master cue ball control because every time you're expecting a certain result, it's different just because of little flaws in your stroke. Basically, it means you're lining up to the same spot on the cue ball, but due to minor shakes and flaws in your stroke, you're striking the cue ball in just a little bit different area, and that causes a different result. Just a millimeter or two different on the cue ball produces a much different result. So let's go back to the basics here, break down our stroke, our stance, and learn it all over again. It could help you. All right, guys, stance is probably the first thing we want to learn, but you can't really learn that until you get the approach to the table down. The two go hand in hand, and if you don't approach the table correctly, your stance will not be correct. All right, guys, when I have a shot, I approach it square, straight on to the shot. My shoulders are square to the shot, my feet are pointing to the shot, and I'm looking dead at my hit point where I want to make the 9-ball. After that, I'll step back a little bit and line my stick up to the cue ball. Then I'll take a step with my back foot. So in my case, I'm right-handed, it's my right foot is my back foot. And I'll turn sideways so my back foot is directly under the grip of my stick. Then I'll take a step with my left foot towards the shot. I want my left foot to be about shoulder width from my right foot. Now you should be in line with your shot. So when you get down, you're already lined up on the shot. Once you're in line with your shot, you just work on your stroke, and it should be a given to make the ball. So guys, if you do your approach right, it leads right into your stance. And if your stance is right, it leads into the aiming of your shot. If your approach and stance are done correctly, you should already be lined up and aimed on your shot as soon as you get down to shoot. If you get down to shoot and realize that you're not aimed directly where you need to be, then stand back up and do it again. Reset because your approach and stance were not correct. In theory, you should be able to approach, get your stance right, get down and shoot without even looking at your shot. In theory. We all know theory is a little bit different than reality though, don't we? Now that we got approach and stance, let's work on stroke. We're just gonna cover the basics and you can learn from there. You want your hand either flat on the table or your palm firm on the table, and you want to put weight on that bridge hand so it doesn't move around. If your bridge moves around, you don't strike the cue ball consistently because you're moving. Because if you're flat and you need to put top on the cue ball, you just bend your fingers up and your palm is still solid on the table with weight, and you can put top on the ball. The other thing to note with your stroke is when you're at your starting position, your elbow should be 90 degrees. That gives you perfect amount of back and forward. So when you stroke the cue ball, you want to make sure you don't stop at your starting point. You want to go past your starting point and follow through. That's how you get the English to work on your cue ball. So guys, there's one thing we didn't talk about with our stance and our approach, pre-shot routine. I wanted to touch base about it just a little bit because it kind of falls in the category of stance and approach. Guys, your pre-shot routine is just something you do the same exact way every time you get ready to shoot the ball. So from your approach to your stance to get down to actually shoot the ball, should be done exactly the same way every time in practice and in matches. Guys, the more you do this in practice the exact same way, when it comes to a match, you do it the same way, and it triggers your brain into remembering how to shoot the ball. Basically, it takes you into a practice state of mind. So my pre-shot routine is something like this. Get my stance, I get my approach, I take a couple practice strokes, and at this point, I'm just getting my mind concentrating on the shot at hand. Then I come down on the shot. Guys, your pre-shot routine doesn't have to be like mine. It doesn't have to be like anybody's. Make it your own. But the important thing is you do it the exact same way every time. Don't skip any steps, because this is a big part of getting you into a mental state that's going to allow you to shoot your best pool. It allows you to aim correctly, approach correctly, stand correctly, and it allows you to shoot much better pool. Guys, as always, I appreciate you watching. Don't forget, I'm not a professional and I'm not a teacher. I'm just an amateur teaching you guys what I've already learned, and it helps me, so I hope it helps you as well. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you guys want a short rail shirt, that link is in the description, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace.